Okay.
Okay, we won't be out live right now because my stream key is not working. So I guess we're stuck where we are.
Okay, but you're
You-
recording.
You are recording. Go for
Okay.
it. We'll post it later.
Thank you. So happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you.
Welcome to the December 6th meeting of the Lucy Robbins Wells Library Board of Trustees. This is a regular meeting for us. And I'm going to turn it over to our secretary, Elizabeth Rogers, to do a roll call. So when we do that, if folks can make sure they go off mute, and if you just want to hit your space key momentarily, that will take you off quickly and put you back on. Elizabeth? I can't hear you.
Maybe she's on mute.
I don't even see her.
No, she's definitely trying to unmute. I can see the mic going on and off.
Okay.
Liz, try the little arrow next to the mute button, select test speaker and microphone, see if that makes your microphone come back on.
Hello?
There you
There
go.
you
Oh, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay. Andy Brecker,
Here.
Anna Eddy. Here. Laurel Goodgen,
She's here. She's on mute.
Judy Igelski,
Present, sorry.
Judy is absent.
Jones.
Here.
Pauline Crook,
Here.
Iris Larson, Leanne Mankey,
Here.
Maureen O'Connor Lyons,
Here.
Neil Ryan,
Here.
Christine Shushin,
Here.
Diane Stam,
Here.
Lisa Maston,
Here.
Karen Benner,
Here.
Sheila Rowell,
Here.
and David Nagel I have as part of the role, but I know that might have changed.
So
I think
Dave Nagel is
Nate-
still one of our town councilors. He is not here this evening, but Sharon Braverman is also one of our town council liaisons, and she is with us tonight.
Hi, everyone.
Hi,
Hi,
Sharon,
Sharon.
welcome.
Hi, Sharon.
Welcome.
That concludes the role.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to assume still no public participants out there.
Still no public attendees.
Okay, next we would go into the town council liaison report. Sharon, do you have anything that you would like to share with us? I'm happy to see that you're joining as our liaison.
Next, I do not. I will be on top of this next time, I promise.
Okay, thank you. We just usually look for updates if you have any information for us for what's going on in town council or town as affects the town and or the library especially.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
We
well,
appreciate
The only thing is we're code red in town for COVID, but you all know that already.
unfortunately, yes, we're hoping
Yeah,
that things get better.
right. Right. Thank you, Diane.
Yes, thank you. I just got a text from Iris and she's the secretary. Let me see. Okay, it looks like she might have a little confusion of the night for the board meeting. I'll circle back to her if she's able to get on for the secretary's report. But at this point, I don't have anything from her. It looks like there was a little mix up for next week or this week. And then I'll move for approval of the minutes. Does anybody have any questions or corrections for the minutes that were sent out?
I did only because Hanel was misspelled again.
Okay,
On page 2, review of annual activities calendar. And about halfway down, it says, she commented the Hanel series is also on the docket. Hanell. Oh, I got, maybe it's last month's. God in heaven.
yeah, I think,
I think I need probably whiskey or something. You didn't hear that. You didn't hear that.
I like
I thought
that.
it was
idea.
so good.
Start with readers and then you can move on from there. See what
There,
happens.
okay. Other than that, everything seemed to be okay. The Ready, Set, Go program, is that ready, comma, set, comma, go? Or is it ready, comma, set, go? You know?
I think it's
Uh,
comma.
It's, let me just think a minute. It should be ready, set, go. It should be 2 commas in there.
Okay, well, I don't think we corrected that the last time.
I have to say, I sent a message just 5 minutes ago to Lisa Maston. For some reason, I did not get a copy of the November minutes, so
I don't,
So the November minutes came out earlier. Per Christine's request, we had requested that the November minutes come out closer to the meeting date so folks would have a chance to review it while things were fresh in their mind. So you might have it a little bit farther back. If you still don't have it, we'll get you a copy.
yeah, I searched for it. I couldn't find it. So
Okay,
another copy would be great. Thank you.
okay, good. We'll make sure you get a copy. Does anybody else have any comments or corrections on the minutes from last month? Okay, then I would entertain, so we're missing a few commas. Is that the end
Yes.
result of that? Okay,
Yeah.
so I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
So moved, Leanne.
Thank you. Second,
Second, Pauline,
thank you, Pauline. All those in favor, and I need you to either raise your hands or take yourselves off mute for the votes. All those in favor?
aye.
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 Opposed?
This is Maureen. I'm abstaining. I was not here for the meeting.
Thank you. So all but one in favor. Maureen has abstained because she was not at that meeting. All right, moving on is the review of the annual activities calendar. And now that we're getting back to our regular calendar timeframe and events, I have on here under December 5K race, determine sponsor levels, begin contacting sponsors. The library budget comes up. We need to verify that the website has the correct dates and times for our meetings and submit the schedule for 2022 to the town hall for posting on the website. And we'll start the evaluation process for the director of the library. Anyone have questions or thoughts on that? Anna, I can see your hand raised.
No, that was for the, sorry, that was for the vote. I'll lower it.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else have questions?
No.
No? Okay, great. Then we're gonna,
Diane, I'm sorry, Diane, I do have a thing, since, next month this is December, so next month we're technically starting up on preparation for the race and, the activities calendar.
yes,
There should probably be a review meeting, or maybe we do it in January, a brainstorming session on what to do for the 25th.
yes, I think that would be a good idea. So let's just, for activities, we normally in January start our meetings at 6:30 as a reminder to folks. And we have that race meeting. If we feel that we need something before January 10th at 6:30 to do some brainstorming, or if we're gonna pop that out there, or we can send some ideas and collect them through emails. But you're right, it is the 25th anniversary race. So we should be looking to turn up the heat a little bit.
There's a question, Diane.
Yes, Neil.
Okay, so does that mean that January, our next month meeting at 6:30, we're gonna have a road race meeting, correct?
Correct.
Okay, good. That's
So
right.
moving forward for the next 6 months, January through May, so 5 months really, we have a 6:30 start time for the 5K race meeting. And then the actual board meeting would start at 7.
Got it, just like it's always been. Yep,
Yes.
like usual.
right. Any other comments?
Diane,
Yes,
people may want to buy a 25th anniversary shirt that aren't even library members. I mean, it could be a fundraiser for the town. 25 years sounds really impressive, and everyone loves the library. Might be a way to make some money and kind of brand ourselves as a library loving town.
good thought. We will certainly take that under consideration and figure out how we might do the logistics on that. Some of the ordering of the shirts and stuff is a little bit of forecasting, a little bit of seeing what happened last year, and a little bit of magic to figure out if we're getting the right numbers and signs. But I like that idea. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other comments on activities?
I did, my, my niece, that is librarian over at Worcester Public Library. I don't know whether or not you can see this. This is what they were selling as a fundraiser, a cardigan with the library's logo.
Sure.
Very, very nice. I mean, as an idea to think about, I guess.
Okay,
It's
So
hard
that
to
was
sell a
hard to-
cardigan in May, though.
What, Anna?
It would be hard to sell a cardigan in May.
Yeah, but something like that idea, I guess, but they said they sold out. And Worcester's not exactly the richest town out there. But just something, I don't know.
all good ideas.
In terms of.
Can you
calendar,
get from her what the cost was for that?
It was 27 for the final, so I think it was 15. And the rest was profit for.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful. All right, are
I
we?
have one more thing on the calendar, more just a reminder to everyone. I know our fiscal year end runs June 30th, but I do have filings that I have to do for the end of the calendar year. So I would ask if there are any billings or anything that aren't your usual Sprint bills, et cetera, that I have them before for the month, including Elizabeth, if I could have yours so I can have your 1099 prepared correctly. So I can make that up properly. If I could have everything before the end of December, I would greatly appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. So next, treasurer's report, I'm going to ask Leanne Making to talk. And then if I could just remind folks, it is hard if you're not looking at the screen and not familiar with the voices to know who's speaking. So if you can say, this is Diane, this is Leanne, and then ask your question or whatever, that's helpful. So Leanne, if you would give the treasurer's report.
All right, first of all, just so that you're aware, I don't know how many of you checked your email within an hour before the meeting, but I did send you a revised treasurer's report. The one that I sent to you at the end of last week did not reflect the investments. I just got the reports today. So they are incorporated in the revision. But basically the accounts stand at, the only income we had this month was some Amazon Smile income, and we did have some substantial costs. We had the accounting fees that had to be paid, and we did have, I had revised the 2021 5K race results because we had some bills that came in after last month's October's closing. So we had the $2,000 fee for accounting, which is still very reasonable. If you recall, our previous accountant charged us $3,000 a year. So this was, I'm very pleased with both Dean Spada's investment workforce as well as Rob Matfus, our accountant, who is affiliated with their office. So that's all done. That's all filed. We are at $27,395.12 at the end of November. All of our insurances are paid. The next insurance premium isn't due till May. So we're current with our insurances. We have our accounting done. And all legal bills are paid. So it's primarily just generally operating expenses we have over the course of the next few months. The money market is still relatively just sitting there. Dean is still looking at opportunities with the market being so crazy that it's kind of been put on a back burner. The restricted funds that are available at Santander are at 23,805.20. And the final results on the race are $9,378.90. So that is our big fundraiser. So obviously everybody next month, we got to hit the ground running for May because we've abbreviated the timeline, but at least we'll be back into the regular process. Now that I have the computer back from the accountant and I've talked to Lisa and Scott, and we will coordinate and upgrade the memory and speed on the laptop, so that this is a good time before we start hitting the race things, which usually start hitting in February. So this is a good time to be without the computer for a while at Scott's, in accordance with his schedule. He's being very gracious and helping us out here. We did get some notification earlier in the year. Dr. Polino, who has established the Polino Book Fund, had passed away a few years ago, and he remembered us in his will. We had a bequest that came in earlier in the year for almost $15,000, and we have been notified that the estate is basically being settled, probate is being settled, and there will be an additional approximately $9,500 coming our way, which is really amazing. And that'll go into the Polino Book Fund. So that is that will really help us broaden our collections and give our library staff the resources to really start investigating some new and interesting things, hopefully, that we can add to the library collections. The unrestricted funds report is at the end. It does reflect the November 30th balance. And that's what I've got, other than, let's see, I told you about Polino and the other. I think that's all I have. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Leanne. Does anyone have questions for Leanne on her report? Seeing none, we'll move on, and we'll go to the library director's report with Lisa.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
Sorry.
Let me just. Okay, so I'll start with the roofing project. It's about 97%. I was told 97% done. There's just a few minor things that they're taking care of, but they've replaced the shingles, and they have replaced an area of the rubber roof that was causing a lot of the leaks. So that's mostly done. They actually did it in pretty much the same week, which was a little stressful, but everyone, we actually had to direct people through the admin office to get into the library for about 2 days because the front door was closed. But it's all, it's good, it's done. They're checking it to make sure that it was done to the way that facilities director wanted, and it's great because we're about to hit winter weather. So we have, they put in an irrigation system in the new, the lawn that was part of the new parking lot, that big patch of lawn behind the Friends container. So that was put in around sometime, I think at the end of October into November. So we haven't had to use it, but it's there for next spring, which will be nice. The cleaning contract went out to bid for next year, or I'm not sure exactly when it's coming due, but they sent it out to bid because they were hoping to get a different service that might be better for, and it's going to, it's for the same buildings, the senior center, the library, Parks and Rec, and the police department. So we'll be hearing more about that in the coming months. Maureen, I'll talk about it a little more when we get into the budget, but more that we did get our budget instructions, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. As Sharon had mentioned, we are in the red level of for COVID, which I guess the cases doubled last week. So what that means for the library is we actually not much. We're doing everything we did last week. The difference is that we had started doing an in-person story time, and that's on hold. We did 1 week, and now this coming week we're not going to do, and we'll see what happens Thursday. But we are open for business. There's a little bit of confusion, I think, on Facebook about that, but we are open for business. The regular hours, people can come in and browse. There's some limited seating for studying, and we have study rooms open right now. If the numbers go up this week, then we'll probably close the study rooms, but right, and then people can use the computers. So we're kind of doing what we did last week, but we have to just see what happens in the next week or two. Masks are required, and the difference with the red level 2 is that we, when we're in the orange and yellow levels, we don't have to fill out the COVID screening forms, but now we are back to a sign-in log for people to fill out when they walk into the building. We will be closed on December 24th, 25th, and 26th. The town hall is also closed on December 23rd, just for your FYI. And then we'll be closed on December 31st, January 1st, and January 2nd for the holidays. And then the final thing is just kind of something to mention to you. I just wanted to keep you guys in the loop. We are currently, when the budget started in July 1, we had 2 unfunded full-time positions. So that means that we're down 70 hours a week of people and their work time. And we've been redistributing duties, and we've been trying to get used to that new norm for us right now. And also currently, in addition to that, we are down another full-time position, Victoria, who was our digital service librarian, and Jeanette Francini left a week ago, and she's a 19-hour a week. And the thing about Jeanette as well is that was a fountain of information and a longtime employee. So she was able to do a lot in the 19 hours she worked. So the reason why I'm saying this is that it is impacting everyone's ability to get things done as quickly as we used to. And we're trying to come up with a better way to kind of meet the needs of the board, of the friends, and of our patrons, as well as the staff needs. Everybody's kind of working a lot, and they're kind of maxed out. So one thing that I would like to propose is that if you are sending an email to the admin office for anything related to the board, please send it to the 3 of us in the office, Carolyn, Karen, and myself. And what we are going to do is someone will acknowledge it as soon as we can, and then we'll start making a list of what requests we have in so we can plan better for all of you. I will say that we are not at our desks as often as we used to be, because a lot of us are covering public service desks as well as doing many other tasks. So we will acknowledge you quicker, but I will say that, sometimes it's going to have to be some of the things, if they're not critical to be done right away, we're going to have to, we'll do them, and we'll get them done as quickly as you can. But we also have our other stuff that we've got to get done as well. And the patrons, you never know what's going to happen with patrons. They come in, and I was on the phone with someone the other day, and I was going to get yelled at when I picked up the phone for a call that was placed on hold for me because someone was unhappy. So, that's the kind of stuff you can't anticipate. So I'm going to work better on my behalf, but also I think it would be better for all of you if you did CC all of us, include all of us in the emails, and then we'll do a better job of keeping track of what you're asking. Diane sent out the mailing schedule, so you all know when we need your information by. We can't do the last minute stuff like we used to as easily. So this is why we're trying to plan better. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. Any questions for Lisa Maston?
Nope.
No?
If
Go ahead,
I do.
Andy. Go ahead, Andy.
Hey, Lisa, has it been revealed to you where the spike in cases is coming from? Is it CCSU, the high school, the nursing homes?
No, they
Any
haven't.
additional specificity?
No, they haven't specifically said. I mean, we're looking at the, I'm not sure about that. I mean, Megan Mankey would probably know the information to that. The one thing I should add as well is that we currently have 2 staff people that are out due to COVID protocol. So that's the other thing we're dealing with in the mix of all of this. But no, I don't know, Andy, about where it's coming from. I just know that the cases from the previous week were up to like 56, I think, is how many cases there were last week. So I'm not sure what's going to happen this coming week.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Andy. Any other questions for Lisa? No, then I would just, reemphasize what Lisa has said. Let's help her, help us, and try to get some of our planning done a little bit further ahead on due dates and things when we need to reach out to the team at the library, and then just make sure that we're copying all 3 of them so that whoever is at the desk gets to see that. So again, Lisa, thank you for making us aware of the staffing issues, and we appreciate that. And we'll work with you to try and make sure that we're giving enough lead time.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, not seeing any other questions. We'll move on to the Assistant Library Director's report. Karen Benner.
Hi, everybody. I think I'm not sure if I mentioned this last month, but we did expand our hours during the month. I can't remember if it was earlier in the month, but just so everybody's on the same page, we are open until 8 in the evening now, Monday through Thursday, rather than 7. And Saturday is a full day, 10 to 5. And then you all know that we're open on Sundays now, 1 to 4. Yay! With the Sundays, I think the last time I spoke, we had an issue with parking. We have not encountered that again in the subsequent Sundays. Things have been going really well. The statistics that I have from this past Sunday was that we had 108 people in the library in those 3 hours. So that's pretty good, I think, given that we've only been open a month. When the word is still getting out there. So Sundays are going well. We've also talked a little bit about these hotspots. I know we've been talking about them every month. Leanne's going to be thrilled when this is put to bed, because it's been a little bit of a nightmare for her as well with billing. But we have them, they're ready to go. They're going to go in circulation soon. We're getting the cases and they'll be processed and out very soon. And Leanne hopefully will be able to put the final invoice to rest once we get this credit. So that's going to be something nice that is out for the public. And then the last thing, I just wanted to follow up a little bit on what Lisa was saying regarding personnel, with just a little bit more of the details on the positions. So as Lisa mentioned, we have a full-time digital services librarian position that has been open. Anything that is full-time, goes through a process with the town hall and is open to AFSCME employees first. And so we've gone through that process. We do have someone that we have made an offer to, who is a substitute in the circulation department. So she is going through the hiring process right now. That will leave a hole in the position that she just vacated. We also, as Lisa mentioned, have that part-time position, which Jeanette Francini left. It's a part-time 19-hour-a-week position, but as Lisa said, she did a lot. So we are now just kind of looking to fill that position. If that's filled by someone internally, which we have hopes that it will be, then that opens up another position. So I think you get the picture. There's still a lot of transition going on. And it's a fair amount of our time in terms of training. So I just wanted to add that on, and that you will be seeing some newer staff in these positions when you come into the library over the next month. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Does anyone have questions for Karen? I see Sharon's hand up. Sharon Braverman.
Karen, do we work with Southern and their library science majors as far as bringing in interns and getting them experience? I think they still have the library science program.
We have at times in the past, and we do have, if we have positions open that are not being filled internally, we post in different places where people who are students can see that there are positions available. We have not had any type of intern recently, and Lisa, you can hop in here if you feel like you need to. Simply, Sharon, we just have not had the time. It does take some time to be able to dedicate to interns, but we are open when we're able to manage it. That being said, we did have an intern, right, Lisa, during the summer through the town manager's program. It wasn't an MLS student, but we did have somebody who worked a little bit with us. The town manager had a program for some students out of Hartford High School that spent some time in each of the departments.
Good.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I know how valuable those high school to college or college to work programs are. So anything we can do to facilitate the library science, I'm all for it. Anything I can do, let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Anyone else have questions for Karen? No, I don't see any, so we'll move on to Friends of the Library report with Sheila Rowell. Sheila?
Good evening. We're still struggling along like everyone else, trying to manage without being able to have the functions we'd like to have. We're still sorting, we're accepting donations. We'd like to do it when someone's there, when make an appointment, but we've pretty much taken them, excuse me, when anybody's been there. So we're sorting, we're staffing, we're cleaning up the container. The excuse me, the Friends Corner is doing pretty well. We've been selling a lot through that as well.
Great, thank you. Does anyone have, Neil, do you have a question?
Well, it's not a question or comment, but are the Friends meeting this Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay, I'll be attending that meeting for the board.
Great, thank you, Neil.
So that's all.
Okay, any other questions for Sheila regarding Friends? I don't see any, so we'll move on to our committee reports. And the first report up is budget. I'm going to turn it over to Maureen, and we'll probably loop in Lisa Maston for some additional information. Maureen?
Hi, everybody. We did receive instructions from the town manager on preparation of the budget. Again, we're being asked to come in at a 0% increase. And Lisa already addressed the 2 full-time positions that we have unavailable. One of the things that caught my eye in the instructions was Keith's asking that there be a real collaborative effort amongst departments, so, to avoid duplication of services, etc. I know, and I had a discussion with Lisa today, that the library is already very good about working with other departments and other, not just departments, but other areas of the town and stuff. So I am going to turn this over to Lisa. Lisa certainly has more detail and inside information on how the budget process is going to work. But, you know, it's tight, once more. It's tight and in a time when we're needy. Lisa?
Okay. So we did receive the instructions, and as Maureen said, it was a 0% increase, which means that if there's any increases, we have to find the money somewhere in the budget and just kind of shift money around to different line items. So we're currently looking at all of the ones that memberships, things that might have gone up. And we're adjusting those, and then we'll see where the number, the bottom line falls. As Maureen was saying, the collaboration, I think it's been a little bit more challenging the last year and a half, because typically some of the collaboration we've done is programming with like Parks and Rec or with the senior center, but because of the way the buildings have been closed and things like that, it's kind of been put on the back burner. But that's not to say that we're not going to, start that up again as things open up more. One thing I was talking about with Maureen as far as collaboration, the one thing the library has done well for libraries in general, I think in Connecticut do that, is we're part of a consortium of 30 libraries. And being part of Library Connection gives us the ability to share the database for our materials for our patrons, the Sierra or Encore, as you know it, when you go online, so that we share that cost. And also being part of a consortium, we have a lot of buying power when we buy as a group on databases, on our materials, things like that. We get a pretty decent discount on some of our books. But as Dorothy was saying, books that used to be $27 are now $29, all that stuff. So it's all going up. So, you can buy, you just have to, cut back on what you buy. But even digital materials, I noticed that ebooks are definitely going up in price as well. And so we're just, going through the process right now. There's not much we can change other than here and there, wherever the cost increase, we'll find a decrease somewhere else to offset it. But we are, anticipating doing more collaboration. The one thing we have been able to do throughout COVID is work with the schools as much as we can. A lot of it has to do with our online materials, our databases, and our digital books and things like that students can use from home or the teachers can use in the classroom as much as they can. And we're keeping in touch with them about ways that we can support the students and the teachers and their curriculum. And, some of our money has been kind of reallocated, as I said in my annual report, that we knew we had to reallocate money from our print budget into digital materials during when the schools were shut down and the kids were learning remotely. So we're just, we can't start making changes till December 10th, and the budget is actually due on the 5th of January. So we have a kind of a really short window this year. So we are on it. We've already met once. We're meeting again this week. And then once we can start putting numbers in, we'll really see where we are and we'll let you know. We'll probably have to let you know via email just to kind of keep you in the loop. We'll let Maureen know and she can communicate with all of you. And that's it.
Thank you, Lisa. Anyone have questions on budget? I see 2 hands up. I'll start with Andy Brecker.
Lisa, just to clarify, the 0% applies to your, what might be known as controllable expenses, not to personnel, utilities, insurance, cleaning, all the things that you can't order yourself. Is that correct?
Correct. It's most of those like the utilities and all that have been taken out of our budget, and they're in the facilities director's budget anyway. So we don't see that anymore like we used to, but you're right. It's mostly the payroll is most of that. If it's union contract, the union contract determines what that's going to be. And then most of the time the town does cover that. Part-time, if there's any kind of raises for part-time, the town does cover that as well. So it's really the other expenses that we have to really watch and see what has changed.
Good, thank you.
Okay. Sharon?
Lisa, have we ever reached out to United Technologies or Stanley Black & Decker for a bigger amount of money to have a Stanley Corner or a UTC, I don't know, room in the library?
Not at this point. We have not, no.
Okay, I still have some contacts, even though I've retired. Maybe once the library reopens, we'll sit down and brainstorm on who to contact and see if they're still willing to do it. It's a perfect place for them to have people in our wonderful library hanging out in a sign that says United Technologies and Stanley. So,
Okay,
all right,
thank you.
sure.
Good ideas. Thank you. Anything else for budget?
Thanks, Lisa.
All right, we'll move on to PEP, Planning, Evaluation, and Policy with Laurel Goodgen. Laurel? Come off mute. Laurel, you're on mute. There you go.
Thank you. We are beginning to work on, it'll be a group of policies dealing with concerns that people address about particular items in the collection, and also a short form of a policy on collection development. And again, on what we call weeding the collection, which is determining what we take out of the collection that is no longer useful. So we have a meeting coming up, which I was hoping was going to be in person, but it sounds like it's going to be on Zoom again. So.
And when is
Laurel,
that
I
meeting?
think it's the 14th of December, and it is going to have to be Zoom. I'll send you a link, Laurel.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, any questions for PEP and Laurel? No? All right. Thank you. Moving on, we'll go to investment with Neil Ryan.
Yes, hello. I don't know if you received our November monthly report, but I got it in from Leanne about 6:30 this evening, and I forwarded it to all the board members. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it yet. You might not have seen it yet, but just briefly, as I thought, November was not a good month for our portfolio. We began the month at $802,799, and we lost a little over $10,000. So as of November 30th, 21, our portfolio value stood at $792,512.78. And for the year, dollar-wise, we're up $46,846. As a percentage, we're up about 6% on the year. So the year hasn't been bad, but November was not a good month for the market in general. So I hadn't expected our portfolio had a good month in November. And but all in all, I think we're in a good place. Given where we started from, and our restricted funds are at $489,212. That's about 61% of the portfolio is restricted. And well, beyond that, there's nothing more to report. I guess I don't know if any of you had a chance to look at the report, because like Ted sent it out. I sent it out late. I really didn't think I was going to have the report ready today. I didn't think we're going to have it today. But Leanne came through and forwarded it to me around 6:30. I said, "Oh, great!" But so you might not have seen it, but if you get a chance to look at it, like I say, it was a down month, but the market itself had a down month, and these things happen. But anyway, so like I say, we're at $792,512.78 as of November 30th.
Thank you, Neil. I know it was tough with our meeting coming in a little bit earlier.
That's it, yeah.
In the
Normally we get
month,
the,
so.
yeah, normally get the,
Again, we'll catch up and we'll have all our finalized
Okay.
numbers, anything that was lacking, or give people a chance to read something. Unfortunately for me, if something comes in on Monday, I don't get a chance to read it before our meeting. And I don't know how others are with their schedules, but that's just the fact for me, but I will review it later. Does anyone have questions for Neil or anything about the investment committee at this point? I don't see any questions. Thank you, Neil. I appreciate the report. Next up is House Committee, and I'll be giving the report. On November 3rd, we did a walkthrough through the library. Those of you that are veterans on the board know that we go into every nook and cranny, both the public and the non-public areas, as we do the walkthrough. Overall, I was very pleased with the look of the library. They, due to COVID, I had jumped into the library a couple of times, but I really didn't get a chance to look in all the corners and go through. And I think staff and facilities did a good job making the most of lighter foot traffic. And there were several areas that were updated. Of course, we knew the reading nook in the children's area had been planned. And actually, when the COVID shutdown first started, that's when that was put into place. But it was nice to see that in there, along with some other furniture that had happened there. Carpet squares had been set up and replaced throughout much of the library, which certainly gives it a much more refreshing look as you go through that. Of course, all the different sneeze guards and things like that are now part of the library, and some of the furniture is turned the other way just to make sure that we don't get too many people congregating in one area. Another piece of new furniture, if you haven't been in recently or haven't walked down along the side, due to some grant money that the library received, we were able to replace those old partitions where people would have the computer workstations. And those things had been around so long that we had turned them inside out and right side out and upside down, trying to find the clean, unstained, unripped parts of those. So it's nice that we have newer equipment replacing them. And I don't think we would have gotten that without the grant money. So again, kudos to Lisa and her team for getting the grant money and getting that equipment in place. The next areas of furniture that really needs some addressing are the upholstered chairs in the quiet reading area and the magazine area. There's a total of 6 chairs that are really very tired looking. And I remember saying 2 years ago that these were going to be next on the list. And as you go by and look at them now, you can see that they really are becoming frayed, and it's just a matter of time before the fabric rips through. So that would be something that we would look to as the House Committee to get a budget and look into replacing. We still only have the limited seating. You know, that's what life is going to be with COVID. We still have an incredible challenge when it comes to our library and space constraints, whether it's with patrons walking in the door or not walking in the door. You might remember from some of the annual meetings, all the Lucy to Go material that was set up for pickup. So even though patrons weren't coming in, we were still cramped with space. The fact that we couldn't open our doors at certain times because we couldn't provide space to give enough difference, I'm sorry, I'm not phrasing it correctly, but we couldn't provide enough distance between possible patrons to really open up. Some other libraries that are a little bit larger were able to open earlier in terms of in-person browsing and things like that. So it's truly space that is our concern. And how are we going to do things? How are we going to set things up? The teen area was rearranged a little bit, makes a lot more sense. But still, the walls have not moved. So constantly, I give kudos to the staff for the way that they've looked at things and reimagined and rethought to make things happen in the confines that we have. But there's only so much you can do. And we are really bursting at the seams. Our staff does not have any more area to work. We have several areas for those of you who have not been through the vaccines tours in a while. Several areas where we have 3 and 4 people that are sharing desks and sharing work areas. So it's, again, quite a feat of scheduling and programming to make sure that you actually have a place for somebody to work when you have them come in to work in these different areas. So I know not everybody was able to go through the walkthrough at this point. I just wanted to remind folks of what had happened. There are amazing things, and the library looks good. But we're still very challenged every day by the amount of space that we have there and what we can do going forward in terms of bringing new programs or even supporting programs that we have now. So The list that was sent out was the checklist that you've seen in years past. And we will get that list updated on a monthly basis and send things out, whether it's just that the work order has been written or whatever the status is on the different items that are there. So I hope to have that sent out on a monthly basis. If anybody has questions for the House Committee or the tour. Has anyone been in and browsed lately and taken a peek at those areas that were done during the COVID quasi shutdown? Leanne?
Well, I'm in pretty regularly because I have to pick up things for the Treasury office. And I'm amazed by how well the staff functions with the space constraints that we have, as well as the work that's been done. The only thing that I have to add to House Committee is something that's been discussed outside on a more informal basis. I am willing to do the work to create new window coverings. However, we kind of put that on the back burner. Not only do I need staff input, but I need access to go in and kind of spend some time as to which windows, et cetera, that you wish to have done. But after the new year, I'm willing to do that labor and create some new window coverings. I believe the community room was the first room we were talking about doing, but I will work on that, but it won't be till after the first of the year.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Anybody else have questions or comments on the House Committee?
No, the report was very thorough, touched on everything, covered
Thank you.
everything.
Thank you. Okay, so we talked about the annual walkthrough. The next will be facility and site with Maureen.
Hello again. Leanne, you're so very clever. Do you think you could put an addition on?
Can I do it with my sewing machine?
Well, can you? There's the question. I had sent a report out earlier, very brief. I think it's very important to acknowledge Lisa Jones. She, in working with the communications committee and the brainstorming, everything seems to turn around to expansion. And she's really done a great job of facilitating and putting all the key points together. And Lisa can discuss this in great detail in her communication piece. I think the key parts of facility and site right now, and it's, we move forward a couple of steps and then we go backwards, and we've been in a backwards mode for a moment. After the last session with the communications committee and all the discussion that was devoted to library expansion, we had discussed reaching out to the library development services, the folks who had done the original plan for us, expansion plan. So Laura reached out to them, and now we're working on a date to actually meet with them to discuss what they can do to tweak or redo what they've proposed to us, and also on the budgetary issue with, how much they're going to charge us. But that's pretty exciting. I think it's a very positive move. Also, and Mayor Del Buono has expressed an interest in meeting with Diane and Dave Nagel about discussing expansion. I think that's pretty positive. So fingers crossed that it's, it's more than just reaching out and being nice. Perhaps we can, if we certainly will express where we're at and what our plans are. The key is that we, the board, have to guide this whole effort. We can't rely on anybody else to just come in and say, here's the money, here's the plan, let's get started. We have to really be strong advocates for the expansion. And, we have to make patrons aware of what we need, the town, the counselors, the town employees. So there's a lot of work to be done. And I think, we'll have if we can get a basis after meeting with LDS and see what kind of advice they give us. They have a lot of experience, and not just in expansion and planning libraries, but also in, I believe, is her name Leslie Laurel? Wasn't she was an actual director of a library. So, I mean, they know the business. And any suggestions from anybody as to how you think we should move forward? We need to keep driving this.
This isn't really a suggestion, but or an observation.
Go ahead, Neil.
On my part. The library is very popular in town. Everybody in town likes the library. Everyone speaks well of the library. And I would imagine the town manager, town council, they're aware of that. They know that. And for all I know, this next year could be the year that they decide to agree to an expansion and approve a $15 million expansion plan. That's the only comment I have to make, but that's what it comes down to. I mean, if town managers, town council are on board, then we're good. And like I said, everyone likes the library and they're aware of that. And for all I know, they may decide that maybe we'll expand the library. That's all.
And you're right, Neil. People do like the library. We certainly have our supporters. I think one of the key things that we as a board need to do is to reach out to these supporters and not just thank them and tell them that, we need space and, would appreciate their help. We need to show them why we need the space.
Well,
So we need to reach out to these folks more in a different way, and that's going to be part of this whole planning effort.
Well, it sounds like the mayor has reached out to you. You said she's indicated she wants to sit down with you.
Yep,
Dave Neal,
she
so.
reached through Dave. Yep, through Dave Nagel, and
Okay,
I don't know, Diane, has a meeting been set up yet?
No, I was approached, I was told that there was interest in setting up a meeting, and we do not have a date at this point.
I think it's encouraging just that there was that she is making overtures.
Right.
Diane, I'd like to be included on that committee as a counselor on the Democratic side if possible.
Okay, I'm not calling the meeting, but I will certainly bring that up. I got a quick phone call this morning when Dave said that he was not able to make this meeting. And he said that the mayor had asked if I was available to meet with her. So I don't have the particulars on the meeting.
Okay, anytime.
Yep. Thank you, Sharon. Leanne?
I also, I was at the communications meeting and I was charged with finding out about funding for getting a space needs update as well as a building program update for us to move forward with where our needs would be with LDS. To find out if we had funds available through the town, through the Library Additions and Renovations Committee. Keith and I have gone back and forth. We have a general estimate of what their fees, are not to exceed basically to work with. And Keith has authorized those funds of not to exceed $15,000 to go forward with that. We just have to get an email from Lisa to him. That this was after this afternoon, so I haven't even talked to Lisa about it. But we just have to request it that we can have those funds so that we can hire them to do the updates and get us to a building program report that basically is detailed enough to get us to submit to an architect. So that that's really good news too. I think that's positive in the sense that the town is supporting, supportive of us at least exploring this option.
That's really good news, Leanne. Thank you. And that money that's left over, quote unquote, from the original
Yeah, it's.
budget
it
that
was-
we were
it-
afforded.
It was put into the, I guess the CIP doesn't, it's not like your typical budget that ends at June and you have to spend it or lose it kind of thing. It carries forward. So we have that, we have those funds and, LDS gave us a general estimate and that was workable with Keith and he's all for it. He was all for it last week. He just asked for a number. We got the number to him today and he said, just as long as we have a request through the department head, which would be Lisa, then an email to Keith, then we can just outlining the general aspects of what this will be for. It's a go. So that's really good news. We can move forward. We don't have to wait for, he had initially said if there wasn't monies, he could potentially put it into next year's budget, or potentially we could pay for it as the board. But if there's monies there already, this is really good news.
Very good news. Thank you, Leanne.
Andy, I see you have your hand raised.
Yes, Leanne, will this necessitate a meeting of the building committee?
No, he said no, that it could just be authorized as a request from the library.
Interesting. Okay.
The other thing about this, and this is just an aside, we had talked about potential outside building, which obviously we would potentially include in an expansion plan. But Steve Woods did come back with some numbers. They are high. I told you they would be. We're at 105,000 for the pavilion that would go in the front yard and 75,000 on the pavilion in the backyard. Obviously, we don't, that isn't something we're just going to jump and do right away, but we have some pricing. He said he would work with us on numbers. He obviously knows we're at a extremely preliminary starting point, whether a full expansion or whether we do something separately. But I would recommend that as we pursue expansion, we should put it into the expansion aspect, but I don't think we should disavow it entirely as a separate entity. And perhaps our board, we shouldn't put the onus on our staff. They already overworked. I understand the town has a grant writer and perhaps we could apply for a grant to do something in the front of the building where potentially, most likely a renovation addition would not proceed. So maybe we want to take a two-pronged effect in terms of kind of short-term and long-term growth.
Thank you, Leanne. Does anyone else have questions or thoughts to add to this topic at this time? Laurel, I can see your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, the state library has, what do I say, manages money appropriated by the state, and we can apply for funds from that. The maximum is $1 million. That goes to libraries that usually have a fully produced drawing out and with an architect, but there also have funds that have been allocated to libraries that are doing smaller renovations, like $200,000. So there was just a list published a couple of weeks ago showing what the latest funds are that have been allocated.
Well, I mean, I think it's worth exploring. Like as I said, obviously, if we can get a millions of dollar referendum going forward, we include it, but I don't think we should discount the idea of pursuing it separately as well.
Laurel, if we did apply for the state's money, let's just say we got the $1 million, how long, is there a time limit on the use?
It used to be 3 years from what I remember, and then you had to, I had to do that in Weathersfield, go back and apply for an extension because our project was so slow. But the $1 million is usually the only ones I've seen funded are, they have a fully blown renovation addition project. And that's just a small piece of it. And it has to already, you have to have your funding approved by your town.
By your town, right. How about if we, let's say, to apply for one of the smaller loans or grants, would that obviate getting the larger one in the future?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so these are all good suggestions, and we should probably work out the nitty gritty offline and see where we're going there. But I like hearing that we have different options for funding and trying to figure out where we might be able to pull money for different projects. Any other questions on this or thoughts?
And this is Lisa Jones.
Thank you.
Who would be responsible for pursuing that then? How does that, where would that go? Would that be under Maureen's or Laurel? I'm not.
You mean
So-
getting the money from the state?
Yeah, no, just kind of organizing or coordinating all this. Like if we're going to go for a grant proposal, I'm just not sure the protocol, that's all.
That's facilities.
Facility, okay.
So it would be facilities, and I think we have done a good job when we reach out to other committees as well to ask for, like, for instance, the brainstorming sessions that we had, or some of the other things. So if we need help from communications to help write up a proposal or a grant request, then, we might reach out and do that. But the committee that would direct this would be facility and site.
Got it. Okay, thanks. Thanks for the clarification.
Sure. Thank you, Lisa. Laurel, I can see your hand up.
Yeah, I believe that usually when you're applying for a grant like this with a commitment made by the town, it has to go by the town council as well.
Good point. Any other questions or points to be brought up at this point?
I'm sorry, this is Lisa Jones again. I just need to ask a question. Laurel, so does that mean that they have to approve it, or it
Yes.
has to be? Oh, okay, all right. It's not just like a nice to know thing.
No,
Okay.
So, and again, just to clarify, I think that was for the $1 million type grant, where you would be expanding the whole library, that they want to see that the town is involved in that. I don't know if that would also apply for maybe an outdoor structure that we talked about. Maybe that could be pandemic funds. Maybe that could be anything else. But part of that relook at what we do and what direction we go in, that's part of the ask for the update of the LDS space assessment. What have we learned since the last time they've done that, having gone through the pandemic, and where do we go? And then, the next step is more formalized in terms of, for those of you who may or may not know, we're talking about a space assessment, which is when we talk about what we need, what we'd like to see, and what goes on. And then the build plan is really something that is so finely set up that we are handing this off to the architect and saying, we need X number of square feet for community room number 1. We need,
yes.
Y number of square feet for this other department or this other community room as we go through. So the build plan is really much more detail oriented, and it would be something that we would hand off to an architect. But then the architect would look at it and look at the space that we have to deal with, meaning the land that we have in the existing building, and then come up with how we were going to accomplish that. So just for those of you that haven't been hearing the lingo before, that's pretty much that two-step process of what we're talking about. So we're not at the point where we've identified or engaged an architect, but we're trying to move forward to get our arms once again around this project and get it updated, because a lot of things have changed in the world since we did this last. Okay, I don't see any other questions. So I'll move on to fund development with Anna Eddy. Anna?
Thank you, Diane. And I have to say that I'm very encouraged by Maureen's report and the work that was done by the communications committee. It's uplifting news, let's put it that way. And some of the legwork that Leanne has done as well. Dan Laurel, it's nice that everybody is contributing. So I'm happy with that. So fund development, we're in terms of specific fund development, Lisa has put I sent her a request about a month ago to do some updates on the website, because if you clicked on the legacy page, there isn't a donate button on it. And there are donate buttons elsewhere. It's on the home page, but it's not on how do I donate? It's not on that page. So Lisa's going to be working on some of those updates when she's not running around doing other stuff. And hopefully she can borrow and copy from other pages and just, it's, you know, from what I've read, it's just it's important to have that donate button wherever somebody goes to look to donate. So that's the focus. So moving on from that, my other focus was Giving Tuesday. And I did research for that and attended workshops and stuff, and, you know, zoned in on something this year. And this year my focus was on just thanking everyone for their years of support. We've been very lucky. We have 17 sponsors, and many of them have been returning sponsors. The chamber has returned for 22 years in a row. And, you know, we've had sponsors 5 years in a row, 10 years in a row, and we're very fortunate. Out of the 17 sponsors, 9 of them have already responded that they're, you know, that they'll be coming back. So that was encouraging news. And I almost jumped out of my seat when I got the message from Tilcon that they were returning. That was such a relief. In addition to those 17, I sent out another 9 letters to people that I had reached out to in the past, some previous sponsors who had dropped off, you know, hoping they're in a position to maybe come back, especially for the 25th year. And, you know, we'll see how that goes. But, you know, I'm encouraged by the initial response from the core group. And the other work that I'm doing is working with Michelle to update the dining partner program. I thought, you know, we need to have that done by the end of the year. And we, you know, this is our 3rd year. And I mean, you know, kudos to us that we've got this structure set up. It does require some massaging. We don't do as much massaging for the dining partners as we do for the sponsors. But, you know, we reach out to them mid-year and say, you know, thank you so much. And we're doing this. And by the way, here's a free dining partner ticket. And here's how we recognize you in our footnotes. So it's important to do all of that stuff. And the ones that we've reached out to, they're all returning. The ones that aren't returning they've closed their doors. So we're in good shape for that. And, you know, we're just plugging along. So that's about it.
Excellent, Anna. Thank you. I want to say that everyone had a big sigh of relief when you shared the news of Tilcon coming back, because with the race so close on the heels, having that major sponsor locked in again really means that we can go forward with the planning. And, you know,
exactly. Well, yeah, that was part of my tone in the letter. It's like, you know, a lot of them already paid for 2021 in 2021. So I did indicate if there's an issue with overlapping years, we'll take your money the first of the year. And oh, by the way, here's an invoice once they said yes. So they've gotten their invoices, and you know, and in each of their letters, I personalized it and said, thank you for your 22 consecutive years. Thank you for returning for the 2nd year, whatever it was. I mean, I thank them, you know, I recognize them individually for what they've been doing. So,
and obviously that seems to make a difference. So appreciate all your efforts on that end, Anna.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Does anybody have questions for Anna? Fundraising, anything else? No?
Just kudos. Thank you, Anna.
Good work.
Okay, you're welcome.
Many thanks. Thank you.
Very much so.
And Lisa and I are in communication. Lisa Jones and I are in communication all the time. So I think of these brainstorm ideas, and I think what we should do is take advantage of the fact that we already know Tilcon's coming back and put an announcement in the paper that we are now accepting sponsorships to come on board and join Tilcon and Kingston Finance, Kingston Wealth Management, and the ones that have already responded. I'm waiting to hear back from HO Penn and Data Mail. Once I've got our top 3, then we can just push it out there to the public. Not no guarantees, but it doesn't hurt. Who knows?
Okay.
Build the momentum, right? Build the momentum is where we need to start. Yep. Say here, we've got all these people and now come on board. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And Lisa Maston did a very good job updating the race webpage to focus on the sponsors right now. So if you went there, you would see that list of 25. I didn't even do a letter this year. I just did 25 reasons to support our race. So
That's great. That's great. Thank you. Nominations, Maureen, I'm assuming there's no report.
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. And then we'll jump into communications with Lisa Jones.
Thanks. This will be quick because we've talked about so much of what's been going on. Just as everyone talked about, we had a meeting, a communications committee meeting that's kind of collaborated with the facility and site to talk about the overall library development solutions. As you know, that the takeaway that I had was to summarize what was going on there. So with that 2017 assessment, so that we added on a couple of things related to pandemic and then some visionary aspects of it, which was a great thing to do based on our visionary session in August. So I think we came up with a good document, still doing some tweaking. I did send it out to everyone on the board. So would appreciate, it's really a board document at this point. So we will, when it's ready for prime time, we'll let you know that too. The outcome of that was, again, as we've discussed, talking with Library Development Solutions, getting an idea, Leanne, with Keith Chapman on funding to talk to Library Development Solutions, and then ensuring that we have sort of those high level, I call them requirements, but a program that would outline the needs of the library. So I think it's all really exciting. It's really fun to start working on this. So as far as communications go, Diane had sent out, as she mentioned, a schedule of mailings to support. The library's been fabulous in supporting the communications of and the mailings of items, and their staff has been does the lion's share of the work. So first of all, I want to say thank you. And then secondly, we need to be careful again about those dates that are commitments to the library so that they can help us, continue to help us, but also being aware that they are short-staffed. We are willing to jump in and help out as well. I think the other thing that we need to think about is at the next communications committee's meeting, and I would open that up to anyone, but thinking about potentially a line item, monetary line item that we might need to have to support any further mailings that we do. So we can look at a 2022 budget and potentially understand what the cost of mailings would be. And that might be something that we need to take into consideration. Other than that, I think that we're meeting with the friends in the library and actually Karen from library. We're, as I mentioned last month, beginning to work monthly to ensure that all of our communications are collaborated. So we have a meeting later on this week, I believe. So on Friday. So all good stuff.
Super, thank you. Does anyone have questions for Lisa Jones? No? Again, thank you for the work that you've done in pulling this together, tracking us and keeping us focused. I appreciate it. And I think, as we've discussed here, it's not only the mailing dates for the footnotes, but we really need to, with the staffing deficit that we have and the challenges of, covering patrons and getting some of the work done, we do need to focus on giving enough lead time when we need assistance of the staff. You know, they're there to help us, but we should be trying to help them as well. I did stuff a couple of envelopes, but I don't think Lisa's going to let me back in because I chit chatted a little too much. It was right after Thanksgiving and we had too much news to share. But I'll do better next time. I promise. I'll wear a muzzle if I have to. But you know, if we think about that, I also remember that Anna had mentioned that she was not going to be here for our actual race day or a couple of weeks on either side of that. So we need to figure out what all of the responsibilities are and the roles are for everyone. And I think it needs to go through not only what Anna does, but what the board does and what staff does, so that if we ever lose a key person, we know easily what to pick up. Anna, you have your hand up?
Yeah, just so you know, I did start a list of the tasks that I do and, you know, the PR stuff. I started the list anyway, and I sent it to Lisa and Karen for their input, asking them, you know, like before the January meeting, that they put their stuff in, and hopefully we'll have enough lead time that we can distribute it and everybody can take a look at it and see what else needs to be thrown in there. I didn't do a specific dates, but it's just like, you know, in the month of January, in the month of February kind of thing.
Okay, that's great. So
yeah,
it's things like that, overall communication. And again, the 5K race is the fundraiser for us. It is the most important fundraiser. So it's important that we keep our focus on that and that the whole board understands what's going on, what it takes to pull that off. So thank you for everyone on that.
can I say one more thing, Diane?
Yes.
It's
Go ahead, Ann.
interesting how the 5K race has evolved, because I remember, I think back in Andy's original time and when Kevin Mason was on the board, they started it just as a fun race, a team building kind of effort. There was no pressure. It was just a way, you know, for the community to come together and look at how much we rely on it 25 years later.
Yep, absolutely. I do believe the genesis was back in Andy's first term 25 years ago. Not to say anything from that end, but certainly getting the word out, getting the library's name out, and having a way to raise some funds. I believe even though it was billed as casual, I think the hope was there that this would turn into a major fundraiser for the library. Okay, we'll move right into old business. And I have open board positions. Now, there is a rumor that we might have a Democratic candidate for the open Democratic position.
Yes, we do. Fiona York.
Okay, this is Pauline Brock.
Yes.
Sorry, Pauline.
Sorry about that. Fiona York is a Newington resident. She is a librarian. She works for Miss Porter's school, so private librarian. She did work prior to that at Oxford, the one on Troutbrook, Kingswood Oxford School. So she's really interested in what especially the expansion. She's young, dynamic, a relatively new mother, but I forced her to read all the minutes, and she said that she can commit to this. I also explained about the other subcommittees. She's all on board, so she knows what she's getting into. We're bringing her name up before the Newington Democratic Town Council this month. She should be brought up at the town council, the first town council meeting in January, but she will try to be here for our library board meeting for January.
Okay.
So I'm really excited.
Thank you, Pauline. It is nice to have some new folks join the board and come through, and somebody with her qualifications looks like a good fit. If for whatever reason the process is stalled, she can always attend as a participant if she hasn't
Yes.
gotten
she's
all the
planning,
i's
yeah.
dotted and t's crossed for the official paperwork that it, sign in and or swear in and all of that. So thank you for that. We do still have to, Andy, yes, I'll come up to you. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, Pauline, do you have a resume you can share with us?
I don't have it right now, but I will probably tomorrow or the day after. I've been busy. My household has been COVID. So that I just got clearance for myself to go out and about. So I have two sick brothers, and it's been kind of stressful. We're part of the red Newington COVID thing. But I will send it out. I will send it out.
When you can, no rush.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pauline. Thank you, Andy. And so the other thing is that we do still have 2 Republican committee appointees open on our board. So if anybody knows of anyone who could be interested, we would appreciate you bringing the library to their interest or bringing their names to our attention so that we can reach out. New business. I don't have anything on the calendar for new business. Is there anybody who would like to bring anything up? Andy, your hand is raised. Yes.
I want to know what the fantastic flowers are behind Laurel's head.
You look like you're outside, Laurel.
She's on mute.
There are geraniums that were on my deck all summer, and they were just splendid when I brought them in, and then I'll winter them.
They're still splendid.
Yeah, I have 8 pots of them. Yeah.
You look
Thank
like you're
you.
outdoors, like in your backyard. But it's light and sunny where you are. I'm in a dark room.
That's great. Okay, any other new business? Anything we want to bring up?
Did you have anything going for the schedule for next year, or are you doing that in January?
We should have that. I would think that we would maintain our schedule of the second Monday, but we should have that officially put in. Lisa Master.
Yeah, James, we'll get it to you this week.
Okay.
Okay.
Usually it's an action of the board. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, Diana, I'll have to talk to you this week.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Public participation. James, is there anybody out there?
Still nobody who's joined us.
Okay, that makes that easy. So finally, I would ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Maureen, so moved.
So I have a Maureen and Laurel. Would you second?
Yes, I'll second it. Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Never.
No one's opposed.
Would do that.
So the motion carries. We're adjourned. Just want to remind you that the next meeting is January 10th. And reminder that we will start at 6:30 with our race committee meeting and then go right in at 7 o'clock for our normal board meeting. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the holidays. Stay safe.
You too.
Hey.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year to
Thank you.
everyone.
Happy New Year. Happy
Bye.
holidays. Bye.
So long, everyone. See you soon down the road.
Either soon or Zoom, right?